Good afternoon, everybody. This is Lorraine, Alternative Homesteading, on Friday, June 21, 2024. If you hear some grass cutting in the background, that's because my grass is being cut. But, I didn't remember to mention yesterday was the summer solstice. Yes, the sun moves into the sign of Cancer. The moon was in the sign of Sagittarius. And today we are experiencing a full moon. So all the crazies come out during a full moon, right? Yes, it increases the blood flow, the waters. But I wanted to show you, and we have to give an applause to whichever one of my hens actually produced this egg. But first I want to show you what guinea eggs look like. So I've got those crazy little guineas, like right over there. Let me see. Right over there. Can't see it because my camera's all blurred, but I've got crazy little guineas, and they produce pointy eggs. So there's a little point, let's see, there's a little point at the top compared to a regular egg. So let me show you here. This is another one. It's got a little point at the top, so that's a little guinea egg, compared to the regular eggs here. These are the regular size eggs, which are actually in a store. These would be considered large. These would be considered large eggs. My hens, except for a couple, produce mostly large and medium eggs, and some of them are small. Of course, the guineas are always a little small. But look at what happened today. Look at this whopper. So I feel bad for my hen that produced this egg, because it must have hurt like hell. Every day is childbirth day for a hen. They're producing all these eggs, and it's a hard shell. So it's got to hurt a little bit. But look at it compared to the other eggs. Let me show you. So this is the large one, the extra large. There might be twins in there. And this is what the usual eggs look like, right? And look at how long it is. Look at that. Look at how big it is. It takes up my whole palm. That's how large it is. There might be double yolks in there. And then these are the little guinea eggs. The guinea eggs are hard. They're really hard to crack. And I kind of understand why, but I feel bad for those little guineas when they're hatching, because it's got to be a lot of work for them to hatch out of these eggs. I have a hard time cracking them. Sometimes I have to come out here on a stone and crack them because they're so hard. So that's what little guinea eggs look like. So you can see in the palm of my hand, this is what they look like, and they have a little point at the top. Some of them are a little bit darker in color. Some of them are darker in color like this. But check this out, guys. Look at this whopper egg. It's just huge. Huge, huge, huge. So we'll give a shout out to my hen, who's probably in recovery now, lying down somewhere. Because it's so big. Oh my goodness, my poor baby. But anyway, I hope everybody's doing well on this Friday. And thank you so much for all of your comments about the video I posted yesterday about the couple from Perma Pasture Farms. This is what I've noticed. And it's just because I'm a targeted person now. But even before I became real heavily targeted, knew that I was in some kind of a program, I watched a lot of these YouTube creators on farms. And I noticed there was a theme. Of course, everybody's moving from the big city. They had health issues, but some of them had catastrophes happen in their lives. And the catastrophe was a deciding factor for them to get out of the city or move away from where they are. Now, this is not unsimilar to what happens to a targeted person. We have so many catastrophes happen in our lives, but because there seems to be one after the next, and we just move from apartment to home, whatever, we don't really realize that we're in some kind of a program until years go by. Years. But what I've noticed is many of these homesteaders and farmers have had all these catastrophes, sudden health issues, bizarre things happening with their animals, healthy animals turning up dead, animals running away, suddenly running away, entire herds like running away. This is not normal animal behavior. So anyway, we haven't had any rain. I want to show you. I put a little kiddie pool out here for my animals because you can see the stream behind my house is does not have a lot of water now, because it's been like in the 90s, the early 90s, 91, 92, 93, and we haven't had any rain. So I put a little kiddie pool out here for my birdies so they can hang out here. This is what it looks like now. And you can hear the guineas in the background there. But I've noticed that I believe that a lot of these off-grid people may be targeted people. Maybe they don't know that they're targeted, or maybe they know and they're not sharing that information, because some of the things that happen to some of these people are so bizarre and off the charts, like what happens to regular targeted people, that it just has to be. They just have to be. They're just not aware of it. And I know for me, I became targeted sometime between 2009 and 2012. I had so many bizarre things happening that were just off the charts. Made no sense given my former life. And it takes a long time for us to realize that we're under surveillance and that our lives are being deliberately toyed with. So anyway, here are my sunflowers. I don't know if you can see them. They're really tall. This is the first time I've really had them inside of, I haven't had them back here. And this is what they look like here. So I've got some here. These are some poppies. But I'm not getting enough rainwater back here. Obviously something happened here. It looks like, this actually looked like somebody grabbed my sunflower. Like, where did it go? The whole thing is missing. Somebody wanted my sunflower, right? So here you go. Oh, and I see some Japanese beetles. I don't like Japanese beetles. They're harmless to humans, but they're definitely a pest. So here's a sunflower here, so pretty. And here. And you can see that there's no water down here. Oh, and where did that piece of wood come from over there? Oh, it looks like somebody dumped that piece of wood. So this is what it looks like here today. And I want to show you how they burned out. This is what the criminals do to my berries. Look. So they scorched all of this. They burnt it out. Here, look at this. They cut the branches here. Cut branches. They cut branches. You can see here. Look. So this is what they do to sabotage your efforts to grow food. So they allow some of the food to grow and then just destroy the rest of it. So they did the same thing with my strawberries this year. These were 2 greenhouses that they have destroyed, so I'm starting to take these down. I'm going to disassemble them, like this is stuck in the grass here. I'm going to disassemble them, get rid of them for scrap metal. But it's non-stop what they do to targeted people. Now I wanted to also mention that there's a targeted person in the community created a video. I'm very discerning, because there are a lot of targeted people that are fake targets, or maybe they just don't know what's going on, and we're all in different programs. So just because what's happening to me is not happening to you doesn't mean that it's not happening. Okay, and the program is carefully designed to discredit targets, right? So now this targeted person said that she's done a lot of research about targeted people, how they come into the program, and that it's generally a narcissistic wound, that somebody pisses somebody off and creates a narcissistic injury, and that's mostly true. But after the narcissistic injury, the narcissist will take revenge. And yes, it is a revenge for hire program. It is a secret revenge for hire program. But for some people are paid to get somebody in the revenge for hire program. And this has been proven by other whistleblowers, that there are some secret files out there that people are paid under the table. It's not all government grants. The people are paid under the table to secretly target somebody. And it's always all about profit also. So people are making a ton of money off of targeted people. So what she said is basically, oh no, there's no experimentation going on. It's just for revenge. Well, that's not true. How do people seek revenge? Multiple ways. They can seek revenge by selling your name to a pharmaceutical company. How about all the Nazi doctors that were covered up for when they came to the United States, that are still covertly practicing and experimenting on people? What about the Tavistock Institute? What about Dr. James Giordano, who thinks it's so fun to poke at brains and manipulate somebody's behavior? So I'm sorry, I disagree with you. I don't think all the doctors are good people. I don't think that they're all stellar just because they have an education. Just because somebody has a doctorate or a PhD or a master's degree doesn't make them a good doctor or psychiatrist. Do you have any idea how many disgusting psychiatrists are out there? They make more money writing a 10-minute prescription than actually helping the person heal and getting to the root of the issue. So I totally disagree that people are not being experimented on. I know for a fact people are, and I could prove that I am. That's right, I can prove that I have 4 surgical incisions on my knee from May 20th, 2020. I think it was 2020 or 2021. I have to go back to my notes. But yeah, so people are covertly experimented on. So just because it's not happening to you doesn't mean that it's not happening. And just because it's not happening to you doesn't mean that all doctors are good. My mother was unalived at a hospital during the 19 saga. And yes, I was interviewed by Dr. Brian Ardis about what they did to my mother, my healthy mother, who had a cough. She had a cough from wearing face masks with polyester and particles in her face makeup and stuff. And they unalived her by treating her as if she had the 19 when she tested negative twice for it. They had no problem collecting $42,000 on her medical insurance, and then almost refused to take the CV-19 off of her death certificate. I had to fight with them about that. And then they claim that, of what she passed away from. But what she passed away from is not something that she had a condition of prior to the incident. They created, through their protocols, through the 19 protocol, they created a medical condition in my mother that did not exist prior, and that does not exist in the medical history of my entire family on both sides, my mother's side or my father's side. Doesn't exist. So no, there are people out there. It's called the psychiatric reprisal. You really do need to do some more research, because targeted people across the country, men and women, are being called crazy and picked up by the mental health narrative. They're Baker acted because they're telling the truth about something. But yeah, there are horrible things that we find out about other people that they don't want to know. But you want to know the irony of it? The irony of it is If I weren't being poked and prodded, I would never be speaking out about it. I would go about my merry way. I would never talk about it. But the fact that I am being targeted and that there are so many people involved, I want to expose them all. Yeah, I want to give you your names of people, dates. That's why I always mention where I lived for 30 years. 52 Sutton Drive, Manalapan, New Jersey. In a home I lived in for 30 years as original owner. Because I was the first person that owned that home. Nobody owned it before me. There wasn't even grass or trees around there before I moved in. So I knew everybody in the neighborhood. Everybody. Everywhere. And then when people started moving out, they started moving in these criminal informants. You know, like the ones that live around here. But they're more than happy to take money to harass an innocent person because they're psychopaths. They don't care about human life. They don't care that they're the ones that are responsible for the takedown of this country. They said go along to get along, losers. Just like the pickup truck that just drove by. Since I'm out here recording, cars are just driving back and forth. Yeah. And usually when I'm out here, there's also somebody on the property moving around. You know, they've got to motion to each other, take different positions, especially when I've got somebody cutting the grass here that can pretty much expose them if they encounter them, right? So no, I disagree. I do agree that people are placed on the list for revenge. That is a narcissistic injury. But after the contracts are sold, they're disseminated everywhere. And many targeted people like Bobby in Canada has proven, beyond a shadow of a doubt, about the medical facilities that are attached to her network. And what about Kim Straub, the nurse, who uncovered the fact that she was being, like the traffic light, medically? She was able to prove it. And you can look up her testimony on my channel. I provided that information, including her x-rays, where she's got an implant. So you mean to tell me, for all the TIs that are implanted, they're not being experimented on? Come on, come on. I'm getting a little cognitive dissonance here by that comment, that all the doctors, they're these good doctors. There are a lot of bad doctors out there, horrible doctors. In fact, if you go listen to, there are a couple of YouTube creators, Patrick Humphrey, there were a couple of others that says, do not, oh yes, Squirrel Tribe, she said, don't go to the emergency room. Whatever you do not go to the hospital. They're not going to take care of you there. They're following different protocols than they did years ago. And they will unalive you, like they did with my mother. So if anybody's interested in my mother's testimony, I did not move it onto my channel because Dr. Artis has the copyright for that. However, I do have the link. It's located on Rumble under his channel. And it starts out where another unaliving, another hospital unaliving, a mother gagged and bound with protocols. So yeah, that's my mother. That's what they did to my mother. So I beg to differ. A YouTube creator, alleged targeted person, just because it's not happening to you doesn't mean that it's not happening to other people. And doctors are paid off, bribed. Look at all the ones that they unalive. What about Dr. Buttar? What about Dr. Carrie Majay, who they silenced? All of her protocols just miraculously gone from her website. Everybody moves from YouTube to Rumble to BitChute to Odyssey. And what about Sabrina Wallace, who has clearly demonstrated that they want us to turn into cyborgs. You think that happens only with technology people? No, this happens with scientists and doctors and psychiatrists. Research the Tavistock Institute and go listen to Dr. James Giordano. Yeah. And what about Bill from the Gates of Hell? You know, that creature. do some research about what he's doing in Nigeria now. Yeah, there's a YouTube creator. I can't pronounce his last name. He's a Nigerian guy. I follow him. He's got some really great stuff. And what they wanted to do there is Bill from the Gates of Hell wants to GPS track all the doctors there. They want their fingerprints. Yeah, they want their fingerprints, their addresses, phone numbers. Why? So they can take them all out at the same time? I don't know, guys. You can look into it, what's going on in Nigeria, what they want to do there, and they're not going to comply with that. No, not after what happened in 2020 to 2022. They don't want their doctors tracked. And tracking the doctors mean that you're going to track their patients. That's a violation of your civil rights. It's a violation, COBRA. I don't know that they've got COBRA. Not COBRA. HIPAA. I don't know if they've got HIPAA laws there. But just don't give up your medical information like that. So yeah, you can research what's going on in Nigeria now. They're not going to comply with that nonsense, and that's going to be coming here too. So now, there are a lot of nasty doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists, scientists. I mean, look at all those people at CERN. Many of them are Luciferian, practice rituals and stuff. So I disagree. I know way too many people that have implants and way too many people that have been covertly experimented on, including myself. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed those my chicken's eggs. I wish I knew who laid that egg. It was one of my red girls was sitting there this morning, but I don't know if she laid it. There were a bunch of other eggs there too, so they must have done a switchy. But I hope everybody's doing well today. This is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. Please remember to hit the thumbs up. It helps the channel grow, get the message out there. And I'll talk to you soon.